Let's get this figured out. This world gon' give me whatever I need until I get this vision out. Then they gon' pay me whatever I ask, cause I got it figured out. Family be checking all up on a nigga to see how I'm feeling now. Damn, they love to see a nigga really make a killing now. I put a lock on the game and I hide the code and the keys. I am not playing no games, I really play this shit for keeps. That shit for me.
MaddenHeadz YouTube, what's going on? It is your boy Coach DC coming back at you today with another video. And today, man, we're going to talk a little bit about some changes I hope are coming up in the game. One of the things that makes the manual press so effective is the fact that you yourself, the user, can kind of judge the leverage of the route. And I'm kind of going somewhere with this. And so to me, it's like when I blitz or whatever, and I take away the slot guy. So let's say if it's an RPO or whatever, I can play that RPO better than anything, or better than, the AI, even the AI would. Because I can make a choice. I can make a choice to stand there. I can make a choice to move. You know what I'm saying? And so one of the improvements that I feel like is much needed on the game is like when it comes to like some of the strategic stuff like shading and adjustments and those kind of deals. The shading thing, it works to a certain degree, but shading needs to be one of those things that's pretty consistent. Let's say if that guy's trying to run a slant and I'm shaded on that particular receiver inside, I should have really good coverage on that slant, according to, my attributes or whatever, what have you. And that's just one of the deals with the game, is that sometimes we can guess right, but the game still doesn't give us any reward. So if it's a bunch of outside release routes or a bunch of out routes and I'm shaded properly, then my man coverage should be better. I think a part of the problem with the game is that, the geography of the field is so bad. The field is so congested in Madden. You have guys running into each other, and I know a part of it is the DDA stuff, but you have DBs bumping into each other, even on non-pick plays, and it's just a whole bunch of it just seems like everything's so congested in one area that like the bad things happen, and what makes it DDA is it always happens on third or fourth down. You know what I'm saying? And so they just need to do a better job with making the shading count. It just has to get better. If you're trying to get rid of user play, which it just seems like you are, then you have to give us more chess pieces. You have to give us more strategy kind of items, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? The shading has to work. The point of attack stuff has to work. Like right here, that was pretty good by, my opponent right there. Even though, I got bailed out right there. And I'm gonna get into the physicality stuff. But yeah, the point of attack stuff is basically how you slant your line. At the beginning of the play, if I'm shading or slanting the line to the left and you're running to the left, then yeah, I should get some good and favorable sheds in that direction. Now, one thing I will say they have improved in the game this year was the movement. The movement. It's one thing I'm in years past, I've had a lot of complaints about movement. But even on the Madden this year, even though it's not like the college, the movement on the Madden is probably better than it's ever been, in my opinion, because it's just smoother. You can string your moves together better, even from a physicality standpoint. And I saw this early on in the college. Any receiver, it's like the angles have to be right, but you know what I'm saying? You can catch it, you can take the hit, and you can keep your feet. You can break these catch animations. I've been telling y'all that for years, but it's just ways to kind of keep your feet when you get hit, if it's not a knockout. But you know what I'm saying? And I saw it early in the college game. It seems like it's a little bit more prevalent in the Madden now. But I mean, overall, we all can just agree that maybe some of us not, but the movement in the college is better. Watch this, put that foot in the ground. And it's like in the college, the responsiveness of the game is more sudden. And so I understand we're pressing buttons and there's going to be a certain amount of delay. But in the college game, it's like when I want to put my foot in the ground to make a cut, or when I want to make a spin move or whatever, what have you, if I want to make a slight adjustment to the way I'm running, you see what I'm saying? You see, I can just put my foot in the ground right then and there, spin move, come right back up out of it. But Travis, that was sick. But it's you can do all that in Madden, but it's like one of those moves is probably gonna clunk out on you at the end. The spin move is probably gonna clunk out. Like I said, the physicality stuff, I saw this early in the college. All this stuff was in the college. And in Madden, it's more so like, let's say when you play with like Derrick Henry, but it gets out of hand after a while. It doesn't look as I talked about with some of the rush stuff, it just doesn't look as organic. It doesn't look as natural. In the college game, you can see them actually shedding the tackles. You know what I'm saying? In Madden, it just, like I said, it looks a little pinballish, looks a little herky-jerky like that. And that was a nice set of moves right there, stringing together two jukes and a little bit of hesitation in the middle there. And so, yeah, in Madden, but again, that looks more mechanical to me. That just may be my opinion. That looks more mechanical to me. In the college game, it just looks more natural. But again, like I said, I'm drawing straws here. I'm being real particular, when it comes to my opinion and what I think is better for me. Anyway, the college is just more responsive. Again, that's just not to say that you can't make these types of moves in Madden. It's just you're just playing at a different speed, and there's a different response to the buttons, and that's basically what I'm really talking about, is the button response that I'm getting when I make a move, or when I stop to put my foot in the ground, or when I hit the juke stick, or when I hesitate just enough, slight, you see what I'm saying, that little foot in the ground. And then it's both games kind of work on the same set of mechanics, the same base set of mechanics. It's just in the college game, I can make these moves without the juke stick. I can really put my foot in the ground without using the juke stick. In Madden, yeah, I mean, you can do it in Madden, but it's going to be more based upon me using L2 and R2, where in the college, I won't really have to use L2 and R2 that much. It'll just be more responsive to the actual movement of the stick itself. And so in Madden, it's like I have to string these moves together. So like, watch, juke, L2, get right back up out of it. You have to break those animations. And in Madden, if you can master breaking the animation that happens after you come out of the juke. Yeah, I can say that. All right, yeah. Learn how to break the animation that comes once you come out of the juke. And once you do that, you'll really start to like pick up those extra yards and actually turn those plays into bigger plays. That was crazy. And it's like master the move that comes after the juke. So like, watch, there's a juke, and then you see how it doesn't carry over. How it kind of drags you into that next little running animation phase where you kind of slow down and you have to kind of stumble over your steps in order to get your momentum back. Nah, if you pop that L2 real quick, it'll break you out of there real fast. All right, man, appreciate each and every one of you guys. It's your boy Coach. I'm out.